All righty, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's daily Bible reading on January 6th. Today is a Thursday, January 6th, and we'll be reading from Isaiah chapter 6. I appreciate you hanging out and waiting on us to go live today. I already had some craziness this morning. Tried doing this on my laptop in another room in the house, and it would not work for the live stream. So I went ahead and tried to record it and realized that the recording, after I got done with it, the recording wasn't saving like I thought it should. So I thought the recording was just lost. So I then had my bedroom open up again. So I came in here and I'm on here live, and I just look at my phone and I got an email notification that the recording that I had done did save, but it just did not save in the way I thought it had. But by the time I was already on here live, so I figured, hey, why not go ahead and read Isaiah chapter 6 for a second time today and go through the things that I did a bit ago. But regardless, I'm thankful to be here with you today. Appreciate you tuning in, and I'm excited. I mean, if there, let me be honest, if there was a chapter of Isaiah that I'd be okay with reading twice, it's Isaiah chapter 6, because it's a cool chapter. It gives us some really incredible imagery of the throne of God and spiritual, supernatural beings that are adoring him and exalting him. And then the interaction between them and Isaiah and God and Isaiah being chosen as God's prophet, really him stepping up to be God's prophet, and then God telling him this is what your job is going to be. And really the job description, it's leaving a little to be desired. It's not exactly a job description that I would like to voluntarily sign up for, but nonetheless, it is a great chapter. And I'm thankful that you're here today on Thursday, January 6th, as we read together in our daily Bible reading for this year here in Isaiah chapter 6. So let me get, let me get the text up on the screen and we will read it together. Here we go. Isaiah chapter 6 and verse number 1. The subheading here is Isaiah's call and mission. Isaiah's call and mission. Isaiah chapter 6, beginning in verse 1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a high and lofty throne, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphim were standing above him. They each had 6 wings. With 2, they covered their faces. With 2, they covered their feet. And 2, they flew. And one called to another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. His glory fills the whole earth. The foundations of the doorway shook at the sound of their voices, and the temple was filled with smoke. Then I said, woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and live among a people of unclean lips, and because my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of armies. Excuse me. Verse 6, then one of the seraphim flew to me, and in his hand was a glowing coal that he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, now that this has touched your lips, your iniquity is removed and your sin is atoned for. Then I heard the voice of the Lord asking, who will I send? Who will go for us? And I said, here I am, send me. He replied, go. Go, say to these people, keep listening, but do not understand. Keep looking, but do not perceive. Make the minds of these people dull, deafen their ears, and blind their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes and hear with their ears, understand with their minds, turn back and be healed. Then I said, until when, Lord? And he replied, until the cities lie in ruins without inhabitants, houses are without people, and the land is ruined and desolate, and the Lord drives the people far away, leaving great emptiness in the land. Though a tenth will remain in the land, it will be burned again, like the terebinth or the oak that leaves a stump when felled. The holy seed is the stump. Again, this is an incredible chapter with incredible imagery of the throne of God and just unbelievable descriptions of God as he's sitting on his throne. It reminds me a lot of Revelation chapter 4, where the same type of idea is put forth of God, where John sees this throne scene of God. Well, here we have it first noted in Isaiah chapter 6 that this happened during the year that King Uzziah died, which is around the same time and is the same time that the Assyrian Empire is rising to power. We know that the Lord is going to use them as his tool to bring retribution and punishment among the people of Judah for their iniquity, among the people of Israel for their rebellion and for their sin. We're going to see that in this, the chunk of this first half of Isaiah from chapters 7 through 39. That's going to be the Israel and Assyria portion. And that actually begins tomorrow whenever we're reading through that. Let's see here. Whenever we're reading through that in chapter 7, we're going to see a narrative portion begin to be read. Whereas up to this point, it's written in this prophetic prophecy block style, where it just the text looks weird. It doesn't look like what we're used to seeing in a biblical text, specifically in the New Testament and the Gospels, where the text just flows like a regular story does. We haven't seen that up until this point, but we're going to see that here in chapter 7, where we begin a much more narrative portion of this text. So that's that's the time frame of which this is happening. And it's during this time that Isaiah sees this prophecy. He sees the Lord, sees God sitting on his throne. The robe is there. It's filling the entire temple. And we see these creatures called seraphim. They're standing above him. They have 6 wings. They're flying. The root word of the word seraphim is the word seraph, which is the Hebrew word for snake. So I believe we can understand rightly here that these spiritual beings are flying snakes of some sort, dragon type of creatures. At least that's how we would understand them. And that's how Isaiah describes them here, having these 6 wings, 2 of them covering their faces, 2 of them covering their feet. The other 2 they're using to fly. They're flying, and I believe the humility that Isaiah is going to show here in a second is also being displayed by these supernatural beings, by these spiritual beings, the seraphim, that they're covering their faces and their feet as a sign of respect and humility towards the Lord. And they're shouting to one another, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies, Yahweh of hosts, the mighty God. His glory fills the whole earth." And Isaiah, he feels that. He can respect that. He acknowledges that as well through the way that he responds to the Lord, where he says, "I'm ruined. Woe is me. I am ruined. I am a man of unclean lips. I am guilty of sin. And I come from a people who are guilty of sin. They too have unclean lips." His words here are dictating his understanding that he is not worthy of standing before God. He's not worthy of seeing the King, seeing him in all of his glory. And based upon this humility, we see one of the seraphim then flying to him, touching his lips with a hot coal from the altar, and stating that his iniquity is removed, his sins are atoned for. And then the Lord asks, well, who's going to go for us, and who's going to share our message? Who's going to be the one to speak up for us? And Isaiah, based upon what he just went through, is willing to step up and say, "Here I am, send me." And that's a tremendous attitude of initiative here, someone who wants to work for the Lord, who wants to be about his business. And based upon that good initiative, he's given a pretty crummy job, if we're going to be honest. The job description here, beginning verse 9, is really not that great. He says, "Go to the people and share this message. Tell them, keep listening but don't understand, keep looking but don't perceive, that whenever you share this message with the people, they're not going to understand you. They're not going to listen. They're not going to respond." And based upon this, Isaiah's going like, "Man, how long do I have to do this, Lord?" In verse number 11. And then here we have a second, I believe, mentioning of captivity from this text. The first one we can see back in chapter 5 and verse 13, where they go into exile. Here the Lord says, well, do it until punishment comes. Do it until there's destruction. But even in this context of destruction, we want to note the seed of hope. The seed of hope that's mentioned in verse 13, that there's going to be a tenth, a remnant that's going to remain in the land. And just as a tree leaves a stump, and from that stump can grow a new tree, so is this stump going to grow a new people that's going to be the remnant of the people. And we know this is important because this gets back to the promise to Abraham, that through Abraham, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. And so here's the Lord continuing to to carry out his plan, to not allow his plan to be stopped or to be hindered. And that's what we see here, that even in this message, this difficult message that Isaiah is going to share, which we've already seen in the previous 5 chapters, haven't we? In the previous 5 chapters, we have Isaiah's summary of the message. It's his summary of the story. Chapters 1 through 5 is the summary. Chapter 6 is his commissioning. Then chapter 7 begins the narrative of what he says to the people of Israel, both to the northern kingdom, northern peoples, and to the southern peoples. And then that goes through 39. And then in chapter 40 begins the real hope section again, the hope, the restoration, that after this captivity has taken place, that this is what you have to look forward to. I believe chapter 40 through the end of the text, chapter 66, I believe those would have been sections that would have been especially beneficial for those who were in captivity, those who were taken away. So they would have this text, and through this text, they would not give up hope, because they would see that the Lord was still working on his purposes, that he was still faithful to his promises, and that section of the story of Isaiah, especially, that would give them hope to persevere and to prepare themselves to come home, or maybe for their descendants to come home, and for them to be faithful to God again. So that's what we have here in Isaiah chapter 6 for today, the commissioning of Isaiah. Not the best job description in the world, but at least that's made up for by being in the glorious presence of God in this vision and seeing something that human minds and human eyes just have a hard time comprehending, the true glory of God. So we'll continue in the text tomorrow, looking at Isaiah chapter 7 tomorrow on Friday, January 7th. Again, we're going to get into more of a narrative portion of the text where we get more of the story of what Isaiah is doing during his prophetic ministry. So I hope you'll join us for that as well as we continue in our daily Bible reading. Before I let you go today, I do just really quickly want to show everyone a couple of ways in which you can help yourselves to be notified whenever the daily Bible readings do start. Again, my aim is for 9 o'clock, around 9 o'clock. I hit that decently well this morning, except for the technical difficulties. And, go back and listen to the beginning of this if you want to hear that again. But I do want to show you just 3 places where we have the daily Bible readings being broadcasted. Again, is on Facebook. Let me get our Loudon Church family. Loudon Church family. Well, Harris, you're really killing me, man. I was looking forward to watching Boba Fett, and you're saying it's kind of boring, so that doesn't get me too excited for it. But here in our Loudon Church family's private group for just the family in Loudon, if you go here to our page and click on the Joined tab, and you hit Manage Notifications, you can see here that all post in-app notifications. You can hit that, and you can also push the push notifications, hit the highlights as well. And if you do that, whenever I go live, you should get a notification on your cellular device, your phone, that I've gone live. And then I will have up that first slide that just says, welcome to the daily Bible reading. We'll start shortly. I will put that up every single day for a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, just so whenever people get those notifications, if they want to join in right then, they'll have time to finish whatever they're doing and hop on and give people some time to get caught up. So you can do that here on Facebook. Once you click these 2 things, go down here to press save, and you will be done. On YouTube, if you'll go to the my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Nick Angel, you'll see that picture of younger, more well-rested Nick. I'm pretty sure that's pre-children Nick. Just click on the channel, go here, press subscribe, and then hit the bell notification and press all. And that way, again, whenever I go live with the daily Bible readings, you will get that notification and have a couple minutes to hop on and to join from the beginning. And all I do on here is the daily Bible readings. That's all that I'm posting. That's all I post on YouTube on my personal channel. So you won't have to worry about anything else except the daily Bible readings. And then if you want to go to our church website, loudoncoc.org, you can see our website here, and you can scroll here on the widgets. You can see our theme for 2022 is here. You can find us on Facebook through our website. Here's our daily Bible readings. If you want to click on that, you can, or you can go up here to sermons, go down to daily Bible reading, click on that. That will bring up this next page that has our schedule for January, February, March. That Chris Emerson and the Excel Still More a chapter a day group is doing. That's what we're following along with this year. Scroll down to the bottom and you will find the YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel. You can click on that and that'll take you straight to the daily Bible readings. Or maybe you have a commute every day and we don't do them early enough to where you can listen on your way to work, but maybe on your way home from work, you would like to listen to our daily Bible readings. You can go down here where it says daily Bible reading audio, click that. And then from there, it'll bring up all of the recordings. I think it will bring up all the recordings. There we go. Maybe. Cross our fingers and maybe it'll happen. Let's see here. Cold weather's probably got it looks like the internet in the house is slowing down a little bit too. Well, here's the thing. Even if you don't do that, I'll show you where it will take you if it'll take me there. Let's see. Here we go. Slowly but surely, we're making progress this morning. Wish I had a little bit of coffee. Give the computer to help it get going a little bit. Well, let me close out of these, see if that helps out any at all. All right, it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to stop this share real fast. I'm going to close out Safari. Open it back up again. Here we go. All right, let me throw this back up on the screen. All right, again, go here, sermons, daily Bible readings. Scroll down here to the bottom, hit audio. There we go. And then you will see all of our recordings every day. As soon as I get done with our recordings or with our live streams, I get the audio up on the website. So if you just click on one of these audio stream on one of these audio tabs, you can hit that. And you can listen on your drive if you would like to do that. So those are the three ways that you can listen and be tuned into our daily Bible readings. Again, you can do that either through YouTube, through Facebook, or through our website. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to help you out. But thank you for joining in this morning. Appreciate your patience, as again, it's something every day, it seems, but that's all right, because we're just going to keep plugging right along, keep trying to be engaged in this good work of reading the Bible on a daily basis. I do hope that it is a blessing to you, that it helps to give you something good to think about as we go throughout the day. Maybe there's something within this text that really stands out to you, and you chew on that throughout the rest of the day, or it gives you kind of a jumping off point to study something on a deeper level. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping just for our minds to be filled with good things, that we're able to think on things above, think on the good things of God's word, and that it blesses us in a great way. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section on Facebook or on YouTube. If you want to have a discussion, ask some questions, please do that. I would love to interact with you in that way. And again, I just hope that this is a blessing to us each day that we participate in these daily Bible readings. Thank you, though, for joining in today. Have a good rest of your day. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you in the morning on Friday, January 7th, as we continue our daily Bible reading as we look at Isaiah chapter 7. Thanks.